Look around you. Really look. See those faces? Most of them are ghosts, walking, talking, breathing ghosts who died years ago but forgot to lie down. Never defend yourself. The psychology of ultimate power. I am going to tell you something that will make you uncomfortable, something that might even make you angry. But anger is just resistance to truth, and truth does not negotiate. The truth is this: everything you think you know about success, about relationships, about power is a carefully constructed lie designed to keep you exactly where you are. You have been taught to be good, to be fair, to play by the rules, to wait your turn. And while you have been following those instructions like an obedient dog, someone else has been reading a different manual. They have been studying Machiavelli. They have been learning the dark arts. They have been practicing the moves that polite society pretends do not exist. And now they are winning. They have the career you wanted, the relationship you dreamed of, the life you thought would be yours if you just worked hard enough, if you just stayed good enough, if you just believed enough. But you stayed stuck. You stayed safe. You stayed where they needed you to stay. This is your wake-up call. Here is what most people do not understand. They think power is about being the loudest person in the room. They think it is about dominance, about control, about forcing people to bend to your will. That is not power. That is insecurity wearing a crown. Real power is invisible. Real power operates in the shadows. Real power is the puppeteer, not the puppet. When you are truly powerful, no one knows it until it is too late. Think about a chess master. Does he announce his strategy? Does he tell his opponent which pieces he is going to sacrifice? No, he moves quietly. He sets traps that look like opportunities. He baits his enemy into positions that feel like victories but are actually graves. By the time the opponent realizes what has happened, the game is already over. That is Machiavellian power. Now look at your life. How many times have you announced your plans? How many times have you shared your dreams, your goals, your next move? And how many times did those plans mysteriously fall apart? How many times did someone you trusted suddenly become an obstacle? This is not coincidence. This is cause and effect. When you reveal your hand, you give your enemies the ammunition to shoot you. Machiavelli warned about this. He said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Most people are so desperate for validation, so hungry for approval, that they broadcast their every thought, their every intention. They think this makes them authentic, makes them honest, makes them trustworthy. What it actually makes them is predictable, and predictable people are controlled people. The first law of power is silence, not the absence of words, but the strategic deployment of words. You speak when speaking serves you. You are silent when silence serves you. You never speak from emotion. You never speak from ego. You speak from calculation. Every word is a chess move. Every sentence is a step toward your objective. Watch the people around you. Notice who talks the most. Notice who is always explaining themselves, always justifying, always seeking approval. These people have no power. They are reactionary. They are puppets dancing to music someone else is playing. Now notice the quiet ones, the ones who listen more than they speak, the ones who ask questions instead of making statements, the ones who seem to know more than they say. These are the dangerous ones. These are the players. You must become a student of human nature, not the sanitized version they teach in psychology classes. The real version, the dark version. Human beings are not rational creatures pretending to be emotional. We are emotional creatures pretending to be rational. Every decision, every choice, every action is driven by emotion first, then justified by logic later. When you understand this, you can predict behavior. When you can predict behavior, you can influence behavior. When you can influence behavior, you have power. Let me give you an example. Someone wants something from you. Maybe it is your time, your money, your support, your approval. A naive person thinks the interaction is about the surface request, but a Machiavellian sees deeper. They ask, what emotion is driving this request? Is it fear? Is it greed? Is it insecurity? Is it ambition? Once you identify the emotional engine, you can control the entire vehicle. If the engine is fear, you can increase the fear or decrease it, depending on what you want. If the engine is greed, you can dangle a reward or withdraw it. If the engine is insecurity, you can validate or threaten their self-image. You are not manipulating the person. You are working with the machinery that already exists inside them. They are already manipulated by their own emotions. You are just choosing which button to press. Let me take you deeper into the machinery of the mind. Most people think they are the author of their thoughts. They think they choose what they believe, what they value, what they want. This is an illusion. You are not the author. You are the narrator of a story that was written by your parents, your culture, your experiences, your traumas. You are reading a script and calling it free will. Machiavelli knew this. He knew that human beings are programmable, not in a sinister way, just in a mechanical way. You put certain inputs in, you get certain outputs out. If you grow up in scarcity, you develop scarcity thinking. If you grow up in chaos, you develop anxiety. If you grow up being punished for speaking, you develop silence. The child adapts to survive, but the adaptation becomes a prison in adulthood. This is why so many people are stuck. They are running software that was installed 20, 30, 40 years ago. Software designed for a different environment, a different threat landscape, a different version of themselves, but they never updated it. They never questioned it. They just keep running the same loops, wondering why they keep getting the same results. To break free, you must become conscious of the script. You must see the patterns. You must ask yourself, why do I react this way? Where did this belief come from? Is this really what I think, or is this what I was taught to think? This process is painful. It is destabilizing. It feels like dying, because in a way, you are dying. The old you, the programmed you, has to die so the real you can emerge. But here is the secret. Once you see the machinery, once you understand the code, you can reprogram yourself. And if you can reprogram yourself, you can program others. Not in a manipulative way, necessarily, but in the sense that you understand what drives people, what motivates them, what scares them. You can speak to the emotional subconscious instead of the logical conscious. And the subconscious is where all the power lives. Let me give you a tactical example. You want someone to do something. The amateur tries logic. They present facts, data, rational arguments, and they are confused when it does not work. The Machiavellian bypasses logic entirely. They figure out what the person fears or desires, and they frame the request in those terms. You are not asking them to do something. You are offering them a way to avoid pain or gain pleasure. Now they want to do it. Now it feels like their idea. That is influence. This is also why you must guard your own subconscious. You must be aware of what you are consuming, who you are listening to, what beliefs are being planted in your mind. Every advertisement, every news article, every conversation is an attempt to program you. Most people walk through life with their mental firewall turned off. They let anyone install anything. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, confused, manipulated. Machiavelli operated in a time of assassins and poisoners. Today, the poison is information. The assassins are algorithms. The battlefield is your attention. And most people are losing the war because they do not even know there is a war. They think they are scrolling. They think they are learning. They are being programmed. Every click, every like, every share is data that someone is using to predict you, to influence you, to control you. Now we move from theory to practice. Understanding is useless without application. You can know everything I have said and still die poor, alone and powerless if you do not act. So here is the manual. Here is the step-by-step process of becoming a Machiavellian operator in the real world. First, you must cultivate strategic silence. Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your decisions. Stop seeking approval. When someone questions you, you have three options. You can ignore them completely. You can answer with a question that redirects attention back to them. Or you can give a response so brief and final that there is nothing left to discuss. What you never do is defend. Defense is admission of weakness. It signals that their opinion has power over you. Second, you must learn to control your reactions. Emotional volatility is a tell. It shows your cards. It shows what you care about, what hurts you, what threatens you. A Machiavellian operator has a poker face, not because he feels nothing, but because he has mastered the gap between stimulus and response. Someone insults you. Inside, you feel the anger, but outside, nothing. You pause. You breathe. You decide if this is worth your energy. Usually, it is not. Third, you must become a student of leverage. Leverage is understanding what someone wants and what someone fears, then positioning yourself as the bridge to one or the barrier to the other. You do not need to be the most talented person in the room. You just need to be the person who controls access to what everyone wants. This is why gatekeepers have power. This is why middlemen get rich. They own the choke point. Fourth, you must build optionality. Never be dependent on one source of income, one relationship, one path. Dependence is slavery. The moment you need something, you lose the power to negotiate for it. You take what they offer. You accept their terms. But if you have options, if you can walk away, if you do not need them more than they need you, then you dictate terms. This is freedom. Fifth, you must practice strategic generosity. This sounds counterintuitive. I have been talking about ruthlessness, about cutting people off, about self-preservation. But here is the paradox. The most effective way to control people is to make them feel indebted to you. When you help someone, when you do them a favor, especially a favor they did not ask for, you create a psychological debt. Most people are desperate to clear that debt. They will repay you tenfold because the weight of owing you makes them uncomfortable. But you must be selective. You do not help everyone. You help people who have the capacity to repay, people who are on their way up, people who will remember. You plant seeds in fertile soil, not in concrete. And when they bloom, when they rise, they bring you with them, not because you demanded it, because they feel they owe it to you. This is soft power. This is the art of making allies who think they chose you. Sixth, you must learn to endure misunderstanding. When you operate at a higher level, when you think in longer time frames, when you make moves that will not pay off for years, people will think you are crazy. They will think you are wasting your time. They will mock you, doubt you, warn you. Let them. Their mockery is proof that you are ahead of them. If they understood what you were doing, they would be doing it too. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to execute. We have come to the end, but this is not really an ending. This is a threshold. On one side of this threshold is the person you were when you started reading. That person believed in fairness, in karma, in the triumph of good over evil. That person thought that working hard and being nice was enough. That person was naive. That person was a child. On the other side of this threshold is someone different, someone colder, clearer, more dangerous, someone who sees the game board, someone who understands that life is not fair, that justice is a luxury, that power goes to those who take it, not those who deserve it. Which side are you going to choose? You can close this video and go back to sleep. You can pretend you did not hear what you heard. You can tell yourself that Machiavelli was wrong, that the world has changed, that you do not need these dark skills because you are good and goodness wins. In the end, you can choose that and you will stay exactly where you are, safe, comfortable, powerless, or You can cross the threshold. You can accept that the world is a battlefield and you have been walking around unarmed. You can accept that human nature is not what you were taught it was. You can accept that to survive, to thrive, to build something real, you need to understand the dark arts, not to become evil, but to stop being a victim. Here is what happens when you cross. At first, you will feel guilty. You will feel like you are betraying some moral code. That guilt is your old programming trying to keep you small. Push through it. After the guilt comes clarity. You start seeing things you never saw before. You see the manipulation in every advertisement. You see the power plays in every meeting. You see the emotional blackmail in every guilt trip. You see the strings attached to every favor. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The world becomes transparent. People become predictable. And you realize that you have been playing checkers while everyone else was playing chess. But now you know the rules. Now you can play. Now you have a chance. This is not about becoming heartless. This is about becoming strategic. You can still love. You can still be generous. You can still help people, but you do it from a position of strength, not weakness. You choose who deserves your energy. You set boundaries. You protect your peace. You do not allow parasites to drain you. You do not allow predators to hunt you. You become the apex predator in your own life. Machiavelli has been dead for 500 years, but his lessons are immortal because human nature is immortal. We are still the same animals we were then. We just have better technology. The game is the same. The stakes are the same. The only question is whether you are going to play or be played. So make your choice. You can hate what you learned here. You can call it dark. You can call it cynical. You can call it evil. Or you can call it truth. And truth does not care what you call it. Truth just is. The lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. And if you want to survive in a world full of wolves, you better stop being a sheep. You better start growing teeth. This is your moment. This is your wake-up call. What are you going to do with it?